storage lockers.
Previously on Hunting with Tripler.
It's a multiple spark discharge.
It's going to be a nice return. Now, this was a bit of a gamble.
What is happening, folks, and welcome to
Hunting with a Tripler.
I like that. Okay. My estate sale lady gave me a sneak preview of one of her upcoming sales. We also conclude tracking the sale in the month of November, starting with just $1, and the results were extremely surprising. And we've got a few plans with what we're going to do with the proceeds. Check this one out, guys.
I collect so many things. Would you like to share this journey with me? I will show you the prizes I got today. So come along with me, come on and join in the chase, yeah!
For those of you who might be new to my channel, and for those of you who've been watching for a while wondering what is this segment called Tracking the Sale, I started this segment to prove that as a reseller, you need nothing to get started. For those of you who might be out there needing a little bit of extra cash, whether it's for rent, for food, whatever it is, reselling is an easy way to make some extra cash, and this particular month definitely proves there was very little work involved in the entire process. I started with $1, I bought an item, I sold it, took the proceeds and bought more items and continued to flip and so on and so forth. I did this back in the month of July. You should go back and look at the results of that. But I also did it for the month of November, and my strategy was way different. This month, I decided to focus on just bigger items. Instead of trying to buy multiple items, I tried to buy one big item, flip that, and the results were definitely a lot different. In November, I probably spent a total of maybe 2 or 3 hours. That includes all of the sourcing, that includes the listing, taking the pictures, and that includes probably packing and shipping, and that was it. So I'm gonna summarize for you exactly what we started with and what we ended with. All of these items ended up selling in the month of November, and the last item sold on the last day of November because I put a huge discount on it just so that it would be a part of this project. So we started off at Goodwill, and I found Adobe Photoshop 9. I got it for 99 cents, and within, I think, a number of days, probably like 10 days, it did sell. And with the proceeds, I decided to go back to Goodwill, and I found this golf bag right here. And this golf bag actually is a Titleist bag. It was in really good condition. I flipped it for a pretty decent profit. I think I was at $80-some. I'm gonna put the running total right down here at the bottom so you guys can see exactly what my proceeds were. And with that money, I went back to Goodwill again, and I bought 2 printers, both of which looked to be in pretty good condition. Only one of them was working. The second one was for parts, and I still sold it. Needless to say, on November 30th, I sold the highest priced item. The final tally was $364.10. The results were definitely disappointing. If you're going to go into this trying to make some extra cash, don't do what I did, which was spend really very little time on this. Imagine what you could do with 8 hours, 20 hours, 40 hours. What if you spent 40 hours a week doing this? The profit margin I'm making per hour is substantial. Folks, if you like what you're hearing so far, if you're enjoying the content, make sure you smash that like button, become a subscriber so you can be part of the weekly journey. The rest of this episode is going to be a blast. So if you like vintage or even antique toys, this will hit you right in the feels. My estate sale lady loves to call me at times when I'm not expecting it, and she typically gives me the keys to the house about a day before the sale starts. And usually I do as much damage as I possibly can, so she's able to unload a whole lot of good stuff even before the sale starts. And that's a great deal for me because I'm always going in spending a lot of money with her. So instead of haggling with her and trying to make these really crazy deals, I simply say, "You're cutting me a good one, thank you, make sure you call me next time." Let's get into today's episode. It's a good one, a lot of great vintage items and a lot of value here. Check it out.
Interesting stuff here, guys.
Yeah.
I think we should start in the garage.
It's all mixed about, huh? Fair enough.
No idea what they've done for the work, but they're cute, right? The rubber band.
Yeah, just the rubber band gun. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they don't need one. I think I'm gonna get out of this room. Feel good about what I've got. So we'll got this guy. And I probably wouldn't want that, but if you would separate this, I'm interested. If you don't want to separate, I totally understand.
Oh, yeah, fine.
So I got this. These three things are the ones on the table. And then I've got this survey thing. I've got this one here. I've got Casio keyboard. These were things that I got inside. This was inside. This was random inside. This was in the garage. This was in the garage. This was inside. And then the trains.
Have we met Nick before?
I think we met. Yeah, we met at
Mark.
one of the houses in Lakewood.
Yep.
Oh, the
Yep.
Lakewood. The head of house in Lakewood. 100-year-old.
How did that one go over? All right. So we have in-box toys. These survey equipment, tripods, this Leica, that looked really interesting. A stock car road race set, a couple of electronics here, the Norelco and the Canon, a random Optimus Prime recent toy, a Casio. These vintage keyboards can be worth decent money. This Mattel slick shooter, a puppet, and some trains. Yes, more trains. We're going to talk about that here in a minute. So I'll kind of break this down for you and what I expect in terms of value. But yeah, we got some pretty cool stuff here. So the tripods themselves have some value to them, but you really have to find the right buyer, and they're not easy to ship. So these are going to be listed locally, but I will test the waters on eBay as well. This Leica here could go for probably $150. The Daytona road race stock card. Now, what I love about this is that the inserts are all in there. That looked interesting. It's not a huge ticket item on eBay, but it goes, I think, for about 50 bucks. That's kind of cool. The Norelco goes for about 50. The Canon Sure Shot, that goes for about 50. This sells pretty consistently for about 25. So, I mean, even just what you're seeing right here, I'm well over $200. The Slick Shooter has some comps up on eBay. None of them have sold recently, but depending upon condition, which I haven't taken it out and looked at it, this could be a $150 item right here. The Casio goes for, I think, 40 to 50, which is crazy to me. This Whammo Fun Fountain goes for about 100. And these trains are the X factor, and I'm actually very optimistic. And one of the reasons why I went for these versus the last set of trains is how heavy they were. I mean, they are incredibly heavy. This right here is probably like 5 or 6 pounds, believe it or not. So all of these trains in here, it's a big set, and I'll probably spend a lot of time this time going through it, seeing what we got. But there were a lot of engines in here, and that's pretty much the main reason I went for it. I think I saw 3. We'll break it down, we'll take a look at it, and see what my total value is gonna be, but I'm hoping it's gonna be in the $500 to $600 range. So $300 to $400 in return would be very nice here. I think I got it off my sweatshirt at this point. Anyway, that was today's episode, folks. And for those of you who might be wondering, how can I source items like this? Vintage toys, you know, sort of vintage collectibles, and I would say estate sales are a really good way to find those types of items. And it's kind of hit or miss at thrift stores and garage sales also. You just never know what people are trying to get rid of at garage sales. So I would say estate sales are really your best bet to find items like that. So if there were items in there that were really kind of intriguing to you, definitely look up estatesales.org or .net, one of the two, and you'll be on the right track to finding out what estate sales are in your area. And if I put tracking the sale from $1 into perspective or compare it back to July, it felt like a disappointment, but truly, guys, for $1, I turned it into over $350, and I only put in 3 hours worth of work. That's over $100 an hour, and that is absolutely insane. I didn't necessarily prove my point that you made rent money this month, but what I did prove is that if you are willing to put in the work, then the results are definitely going to be worth it. And I mentioned something in the intro that I'm going to be doing something with the proceeds, and we absolutely are, but you do have to wait for the next episode to find out what that is. We'll probably do tracking the sale again either in January or February, and the reason I don't do it every single month is it just feels like a lot of pressure to make a whole lot of money just so it feels like the segment is worth it. No matter what, it's not a failure, it has been successful, and I think I'm continuing to prove to those of you out there wondering if reselling is for you, and I hope that this segment alone shows you that you absolutely can make a business starting with just $1. So thank you guys for stopping by. I always appreciate it. Stay safe, and I will, of course, see you next time. Take care.
Next time on Hunting with Tripler.
Any chance you would take $200 for it all?
Just picked up a sealed copy of Witcher Wild Hunt for $2. Whew, okay, this took me a little while to do.